Okay, just another recap for Darlie Routier Fact and Fiction. You can Google that, Darlie Routier Fact and Fiction. It's a website that was made up years ago by our friend Mary Moody. I want to put it in video form so we can keep it out there for people to know the truth about Devin and Damon Routier. I've done the introduction, who's who, Routier's statements, the arrest warrant, Barbara Davis. The myths is where I'm at. I've done fingerprints on the knife, the wine rack, the towel, blood on Devin's shirt, bloody kitchen towels, and now we're at the carpet impression. Today we're going to talk about the knife print that was left on the carpet right by Devin's body. You can see the outline of the blood right there, the outline of the knife right here. They placed the knife next to it to show that it fits. Supporters will tell you that it's not the same print because of this right here. But Bevel explains to us that that's a drip. That's where it was over. It was on the end of the knife, and when it went down, it came off of the knife. Here's a better picture. No enhancements done. Right there is the line from the knife. Right here is the inner, and right here is the handle. Same exact. The carpet impression could not have been made by the knife because it's not a perfect match. Okay, we'll read on. The family room, approximately 18 inches from Devin's body, Charles Lynch observed a bloody impression that resembled a knife. The carpeting was removed and sent to the crime lab for further analysis. That carpet was cut out. That piece of the carpet was cut out by CSI Max Courtney, who took it and did some testing on it. I don't know the results of the testing unless it's discussed here in a testimony. I don't remember what Max Courtney specifically said about that knife. The carpeting was removed and sent to the crime lab for further analysis. The significance of this evidence from the prosecution standpoint was that an assailant would not put the knife down, thereby disarming himself after injuring the mother. She said he dropped the knife walking away. Okay, notice Greg Davis states 111B and 111C are those photos that you took on September 12th, 1996 of the stain pattern and the knife supplied to you by the Rolette Police Department. Charles Lynch says, yes, sir. What part of the family room are we looking at in states 111A? Lynch, this is the area where the body of Devin Routier was found. Davis, what did you do with that knife? The knife was put into the imprint of the blood on the carpet to see if it would fit. Did it? Yes, sir. The exact knife, the murder weapon, was actually put into this, and it fit perfectly, according to the expert who was right there. There's no lie. There's no he was too drunk to tell. There was no tunnel vision. There was nothing. It fit. Someone dropped that knife or put that knife down while these murders were being committed. The defense scored no points in the cross-examination of Lynch. Richard Mosty, you can't say that the impression on the carpet is a knife, can you? Lynch, not to the exclusion of all other objects, no. See, this is what expert witnesses can only say. It appears to be, it's possible, not to the exclusion of all other objects. Mosty, so maybe the impression in the carpet is a knife, and maybe it isn't. Lynch, of all the objects in the house, it was the one that fits best in that imprint. So it fits. Knife print on the floor, blood. That's Darlie's blood. So that means, with that being Darlie's blood, that means after he allegedly sliced her throat and stabbed her arm and stabbed her shoulder, at some point that knife went down onto the carpet. Darlie says that she woke up and saw him walking away from her, and then he dropped the knife. So what's he doing? Stabbing at her, slicing at her, gagging her, trying to assault her, and then he dropped that knife? Did he drop that knife on the ground? And then pick it back up and leave with it? You figure if he picked it back up, he would have done some more attacking, right? instead of just picking it up and leaving. Defense attorneys love this question because they know that legally the witness can only say not to the exclusion of all other objects. In other words, not to the exclusion of every other object in the world. This is an impossible standard. Common sense generally comes into play. Later in the trial, Tom Bevel also testified that about the carpet impression. He had conducted multiple tests similar to the ones done in the utility room. That is, he dipped the butcher knife in human blood, not pig's blood, allowed it to stop dripping, and then dropped, and laid the knife on the family room carpet. To counter this piece of evidence, the defense zeroed in on a 1-inch blood stain extending from the tip of the impression. Talk about this right here. Mosty. It's curious to me that this blood stain actually extends out past the end of the knife, doesn't it? It does. It's a continuous stain. Mosty. Okay, but when the knife is laid there in here, for comparison purpose, there's still an inch more of that same stain sticking out in front of the knife. Bevel. Correct. Well, I don't understand what is this 1 inch of blood out on the end of it is. Bevel. It's a drip. That's where blood dropped from the knife as the knife is coming down, and as the knife in its movement towards the floor, once it comes into contact with the floor, the point of the knife is on the end of the line closest to the front of the knife. Mosty. So your testimony is that this 1 inch is because of blood falling on the carpet before the knife hit the carpet? Before it comes in contact. Yes, that is correct. So as the knife is falling down, the blood would hit that metal of the knife and run down the end of the knife naturally. It's pointing in a downward towards the floor position. There's blood on it from her arm. It's dripping off onto the knife and it's running down the metal quickly. The blood can get down the metal of the knife quicker than the drop. So the blood hits the ground, the knife falls on it, makes the mark. Bevel clarified his opinion on redirect. The knife has to be held above the area to where the blood is dripping. Then there has to be some backward motion, and you are just simply laying it down. Davis. Mr. Bevel, now that we know that the blood shown in this number 1 extension is Darlie Routier's blood, and the blood on the outline is also Darlie Routier's blood, will that indicate the knife was laid on the carpet after Darlie was bleeding? Sit in there for just a second. Again, that knife print does not line up with Darlie's story. He sliced her throat. He stabbed her. He stabbed her in the arm. He stabbed her in the shoulder. She woke up because he was leaving. He had the knife in his hand when he was leaving because she said he dropped it. So at what point, after he got done slicing Darlie's throat and stabbing her, did he drop that knife? And why would he pick it up again? He dropped it on the floor, right, in the utility room, and he just left it. Just left it with somebody chasing him. Wood. Davis. And if you will assume for a moment that the assailant first stabbed Devin Routier twice in the chest, then stabbed Damon Routier 4 times in the back, and then cut Darlie along the neck, the shoulder, and the arm, would you expect the assailant to disarm himself voluntarily after he has injured an adult in a home? Bevel. I would not expect that to occur. No, sir. Any logical thinking person would not expect him during the middle of an attack to drop the knife, pick it up, and run. We just left it there. Since she saw him walking away, he would have just if he dropped it on the carpet, he would have just left it there, right? Or if he would have picked it up, he would have attacked her more. What do you think? The conclusion. For the small extension, the butcher knife corresponded to the carpet impression in regard to the pointed end, the white end, and the handle. This was confirmed by 2 different witnesses. Taking into consideration that Darlie had a cut on her right arm, and that the knife outlined in the carpet was Darlie's blood, Bevel's opinion was that enough blood was running down the knife to cause it to drip off the end of the blade shortly before it was laid, not thrown or dropped, laid. This is important too. I'll get back to that. The defense did not call any witnesses to the stand to refute Lynch and Bevel's findings. They couldn't. There wouldn't be anybody to refute that. It's common sense. Why would Darlie lay the knife down? Now, the supporters were talking about this at one point. Tara, I think, said that he put the knife down to cover his mouth, Devin's mouth, but she's not realizing it. It's Darlie's blood. She's still laying there, or did she see a man walking away? She's still laying there when he's got his hand over Devin's mouth? Darlie laid the knife down. We don't know. It's possible that after inflicting her own wounds, Darlie checked on Devin to make sure he wasn't breathing and laid the knife down momentarily. The alternative is that the assailant put the knife down after injuring one adult who was very much alive and still very much a threat to him. I find the first scenario is more plausible. Now, we have the theory that Devin was kicking at her when he was being stabbed. He had bruises under his thigh and on the bottoms of his feet to testify to that. We feel like she put that knife down for a moment to hold him down, to get him down. And then she picked it back up. She may have stabbed him once. He started kicking at her. She puts the knife down to use both her hands to hold him down. Then picks that knife up and gets him again in the chest. That's what we think. But the supporters will tell you that that's not the same knife print. That's not the same. That's not it. Why is that knife down? Why has it got Darlie's blood on it? Been attacked. That means the intruder only could drop that knife after Darlie was attacked. That does not line up with her story. Why would he disarm himself? This is for Devin and Damon Routier. Remember to join the Darlie Routier War Room on Facebook groups.